Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixie Land. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the NIV, and we are in First Chronicles, chapter 15. The Ark brought to Jerusalem. Now remember, these are what they wrote down right after they were taken into exile. So that they could remember, what their history was, since they didn't have access to any of the scrolls. After David had constructed buildings for himself in the city of David, he prepared a place for the ark of God and pitched a tent for it. Then David said, "No one but the Levites may carry the ark of God, because the Lord chose them to carry the ark of the Lord and to minister before him forever." David assembled all Israel in Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the Lord to the place he had prepared for it. He called together the descendants of Aaron and the Levites. From the descendants of Kohath, Uriel, their leader, 120 relatives. From the descendants of Merari, Asaiah, their leader, 220 relatives. From the descendants of Gershon, Joel, the leader, and 130 relatives. From the descendants of Elzaphan, Shimei, the leader, and 200 relatives. From the descendants of Hebron, Eliel, the leader, and 80 relatives. It's Eliel. From the descendants of Uzziel, Uzziel, Aminadab, the leader, and 112 relatives. Then David summoned Zadok and Abiathar, the priests, and Uriel, Azahiah, Joel, Shimei, Eliel, and Aminadab, the Levites. He said to them, "You are the heads of the Levitical families. You and your fellow Levites are to consecrate yourselves and bring up the ark of the Lord, the God of Israel, to the place I have prepared for it. It was because you, the Levites, did not bring it up here the first time that the Lord our God broke out in anger against us. We did not inquire of him about how to do it in the prescribed way." So the priests and the Levites consecrated themselves in order to bring up the ark of the Lord, the God of Israel, and the Levites carried the ark of God with the poles on their shoulders, as Moses had commanded in accordance with the word of the Lord. Yeah, nobody but the Levites can even carry it, no matter what generation they're in. David told the leaders of the Levites to appoint their brothers as singers to sing joyful songs accompanied by musical instruments, lyres, harps, and cymbals. So the Levites appointed Heman, like He-Man, Heman, son of Joel, from his brothers. Asaph, son of Berekah, that's Berekiah, and from their brothers, the Merarites, Ethan, son of Cushiah, Kushaiah, and with them their brothers next in rank. Zechariah, got a footnote of D on Zechariah. Most Hebrew manuscripts, Zechariah, son of Zechariah. That's Z-E. Oh, okay. Hold on. Zechariah, son, or Zechariah, Ben, and Jeiel and Azahiah. Okay. So slightly different variations of names. Zechariah, Jaziel, Jazzziel, Okay. All right. And Shemiramoth, Shemiramoth, Jehiel, Jehiel, Uni, Unni, Elab, Benaniah, Maasara, Maaseiah, yeah, Maaseiah, Mattathiah, Mattithiah. It's like Matthew almost to me. Mattathiah. Eliphilu, Eliphelehu. Micaniah, Mikneaiah. Obed Edom, and Jeiel, the gatekeepers. And that's got a footnote on it. Oh, I see. That's why it made sense. Okay. That's where Jeiel and Azariah, the gatekeepers. The musicians, Heman, Asaph, and Ethan, were to sound the bronze cymbals. Zechariah, Aziel, Shiramoth, Jeiel, Uni, Elab, Maaseiah, and Benaiah were to play the lyres according to the Alamoth, Alamoth, which got a footnote of F, and this is probably a musical term. They're not sure, at least at the time that this version of the Bible was edited. And Mattathiah, Eliphilu, Micaniah, Obed Edom, Jeiel, and Azariah were to play harps, directing according to Shimeath. Again, this is a musical term, maybe, that they're not sure of. Kenaniah, the head of Levite, was in charge of singing. That was his responsibility because he was skillful at it. Well, that makes sense to me. Berechiah and Elkanah, Elkanah, were to be doorkeepers for the ark. Shebaniah and Jehoshaphat, Nathaniel, Amasiah, Zechariah, Benaniah, and Eliezer, not like, it's like Eleazar, but there's not an A in it, there's an E instead. The priests were to blow trumpets before the ark of God. Obed Edom and Jehiah, Jehiah, were also to be doorkeepers for the ark. So David and the elders of Israel went to the commanders of units of thousands, went to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord of the house of Obed Edom with rejoicing, because God had helped the Levites who were carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord. 7 bulls and 7 rams were sacrificed. Now David was clothed in a robe of fine linen, as were all the Levites who were carrying the ark, as were the singers and Kenan, Kenan, Aiah, who was in charge of the singing of the choirs, because David also wore a linen ephod. So all Israel brought up the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord with shouts and with soundings of ram's horns and trumpets and of cymbals and of playings of lyres. So it's a big parade, like, yay, everybody's celebrating, people are dancing, because it's the Ark of the Lord. It's coming in. It sounds very entertaining. As the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord was entering the city of David, Michal, daughter of Saul, watched from the window. And when she saw King David dancing and celebrating, she despised him in her heart. Now, the first wife, right? But also remember, in her second marriage, because divorce was permissible in the Jewish culture. Well, now and then. So when there was when he was married to Michael, and there was the divorce, Michael got remarried to somebody who basically thought she was the best thing ever, and David thought God was the best thing ever. So she left this very comfortable situation to be one of many over here. And really the top for David with everything was God. So yeah, a little bit of bitterness there in her heart. So I understand, but still, it's good to watch people be joyful. You should feel happy for people when they look happy, or their happy situations are happening. The happier you are at your core, the more happy you bring to you. Until the next video, friends.